Hi everyone, how you doing? Welcome to Module 2. In Module 2, we're going to be talking about Content Area H5, Plan for Possible Unwanted Effects when using Reinforcement, Extinction, and Punishment Procedures. Content Area H6, Monitor Client Progress and Treatment Integrity. Content Area H7, Make Database Decisions about the Effectiveness of the Intervention and the Need for Treatment Revision. Content Area H9, Collaborate with others who provide support and/or provide services to clients. So talking about each one of these in turn, as far as H5, Plan for Possible Unwanted Effects when using Reinforcement, Extinction, and Punishment Procedures. It's really important to remember that anytime we put a behavior analytic procedure into effect, some kind of a behavior change procedure, we're hoping to achieve some kind of outcome. We're hoping for some kind of desired effect. But we don't just get what we hope for. With any intervention that you put into place, there's the possibility for getting some unwanted effects or some side effects, some things that you that weren't really part of what your goal of the intervention was, but things that might come along. And it's really important that we don't go into implementing a procedure without considering what those unwanted effects might be, and really weighing as part of our decision-making process about whether we're going to use an intervention, about whether the possibility of those unwanted effects outweigh the benefit of implementing the intervention, as well as, if we go in with our eyes wide open and we're really thinking about what those unwanted effects might be, we can have a plan for what we're going to do when we see them, okay? And we can sort of play things through to their conclusion. Okay, if I put this intervention in place, here's what might happen. And if this might happen, here's what I'm going to do about it, okay? And as long as we've got a here's what I'm going to do about it, that we can feel okay about. We can feel that, yep, I can do that ethically, I can do that consistently. It's not going to be so resource intensive that I have to be worried about whether it's sustainable. Then maybe we're okay implementing that intervention. But it is a chance for us to really think about things critically, and sometimes decide, okay, what am I going to do if this happens? And if the answer is, gosh, I don't know, or I'm not sure I can really do that consistently, it really ought to give us pause in thinking about the intervention that we're going to be implementing. And so this one, we very often may think about some of the effects of, or the side effects of punishment and extinction procedures, but there can even be unwanted effects when using reinforcement procedures. So this content area really lets us do a dive into what some of those potential unwanted effects might be. Moving over into H6, monitor client progress and treatment integrity. Again, we've decided on our intervention. We have objectively defined it in a way that we're going to be able to take data on things that we see. But then we need to, as we're implementing our intervention, continue to monitor client progress, continue to take data in a way that's meaningful, that lets us report on the progress that our client is making, as well as potentially decide on changes to our intervention based on client progress. So we've got our ongoing data on the progress our client is making, but we also want to be monitoring our treatment integrity. Right? And this really gets into monitoring, are we doing what we say that we're doing, and are we doing it consistently, right? Because we may find ourselves in a situation where where client progress isn't what we expected, okay? And maybe that's because we've got an ineffective intervention, right? Maybe what we designed it just isn't the right intervention, or maybe we do have an intervention that could be effective, but we're not implementing it consistently, right? So it's really important not just to measure and monitor client progress, but also to monitor, are we doing what we say we're doing? So we can use that to evaluate the effectiveness of our interventions. Moving on to H7, making database decisions about the effectiveness of the intervention and the need for treatment revision. So this dovetails with H6. We're monitoring client progress, but now based on monitoring client progress as well as our treatment integrity, how do we use those data that we're collecting to make decisions about whether our intervention is working? And that second piece, the need for treatment revision, that can mean lots of different things. You know, if we've got data that suggests that an intervention is not working, well, that should pretty clearly speak to, okay, we probably need to revise something about our treatment. You know, maybe we need to revise the intervention itself. Maybe we need to revisit our treatment integrity and the training of the people that we have implementing the procedure, to make sure that it's being implemented consistently. But there's another way to think about this need for treatment revision. What if the intervention works, right? What if we got exactly what we were looking for? That still doesn't mean that we're going to leave an intervention in place, right? Because the goal ultimately is to be able to fade our supports and have the natural contingencies of reinforcement in the environment be able to take over and sustain behavior. So even if our data tell us, yes, we nailed it, things are going great, we are still going to want to revise our treatment package down the road. We're going to want to make it less restrictive, less intensive. We're going to want to gradually fade supports so the natural environment can take over. And then finally, H9, and this is a really, they're all key ones, but this one is close to my heart. Collaborate with others who support and/or provide services to clients. I'll be honest with you, sometimes behavior analysts, we get BCBAs, we get a little bit of a reputation. We get a little bit of a reputation for thinking that we're smarter than everybody else, for thinking that our interventions are the only things that work, for discounting the work that other people do. Shorthand, we get a reputation for not playing nice in the sandbox. And that's really too bad, because there is so much that we can learn from people from other disciplines. We have a chance to be so much more impactful in our clients' lives if we're willing to work with others in a multidisciplinary way. And so Content Area 9, collaborating with others who support and provide services to clients, this is really key, that we're not doing the stuff that we're doing in a vacuum, right? That we're willing and able to work with allied professionals who are working with our clients. Maybe that's a speech therapist that we're going to coordinate with, or an occupational therapist that we might coordinate with in terms of thinking about strategies for coping skills or motivating operations manipulations. Maybe this is collaborating with a prescribing doctor as far as figuring out, okay, what kind of data would be useful to you as you're evaluating the effectiveness of medication that might be prescribed. So really just thinking about who's the universe of other people that are touching the lives of our clients. It's not just us. And how do we collaborate with them to the benefit and for the benefit of our client? So those are the content areas that we're going to be targeting in Module 2, and I hope you find it useful. Thanks.